Hi there, welcome once again for another episode of Enwisdomization. Please subscribe to my channel. I am the Enwisdomizer, and this right here is the primordial wave. Welcome and welcome once again. To enwisdomize is to make wiser, to make smarter, to elevate our consciousness beyond the three-dimensional reasoning, the 3D cognition. The 3D cognition is where a lot of people around you, your family, your children, your wife, your husband, your friends, your teachers, your pastors, your bishops, your priests, your imams, your friends, your peer groups, your schoolmates, your co-workers. The three-dimensional cognition is where a lot of people are trapped. A lot of people are trapped. And how did the people get to the point of this 3D cognition? Is a behavioral conditioning we have received from childhood. From childhood, from our teenage years, from our adult years, there is a system in place that has perpetually and permanently conditioned our behavior and our thinking and put a cap. There's a cap on our reasoning that we cannot think beyond that cap, that barrier, right? That frequency barrier. And if anyone presents something that does not sound like something I've heard before, the reaction is astronomical. The reaction is amazing, right? But as a soul consciousness, we have to think beyond the masses. Remember, if mainstream system is a messiah, a lot of people around the world are following this messiah, this false messiah. And the mainstream system, the mainstream mode of information we have received, we've been rewired. Remember, our brain, our neurological system have been so rewired by this pattern of thinking for years that it has become concretized in our mind, in our behavior, that anything outside what we know sounds crazy, sounds awkward. But then we are too lazy to investigate reality. The reason that we have reason is so we use our reason. I'm going to say it again because that sounds so cool. The reason that we have reason is so we use our reason. And if you don't use your reason, you are susceptible for controlling by other people. And there are vampires out there who are willing and ready at every given moment to vampirize your energy, to steal your energy, to steal your soul, to steal your resources. And that is why it is honorable to challenge the assumption. It's uncomfortable. But if, for example, I'm teaching you what you already know, there's no teaching there, there's no knowledge. I'm not bringing something new. I'm perpetuating the same old system, right? And if what I am providing this platform seems strange, is because it is. And it's because it's not what you know. And it's because it's not what the masses know. The masses are herds. When you think of the masses, right, they think in herd. Few people can stand out to think independently. And when you can think independently, that is when you begin to free yourself, especially if you're Africans. And one of the reasons that we talk about all systems of knowledge here, for example, psychology, philosophy, science, anthropology, religion, spirituality, is because as human beings, we are multidimensional. We are social, we are psychological, we're emotional, we are religious or theological. So we have to incorporate all these other aspects of knowledge in our research. You know, research is not something that a lot of people want to do, particularly people, my brothers and sisters of the African continent, and even the Blacks outside Africa, right? In diaspora. They used to make a statement which is true. The best way to hide information from a black man, black people, the best way is to put the information in a book. So it's funny, but that is true. One of the best ways to hide knowledge, any information from a black person, is to just put it in a book, even if it's just one page, one chapter book, or just one page book. They're not going to read it. And that is one of the reasons why mentally Africa seems to be in a retarded state of consciousness. As I always said, one of the ways to see the spiritual soul evolution of a people as a collective group of people is to look at infrastructure in their home. Because infrastructure is spirituality, it has to do with geometry. And geometrical knowledge is a spiritual advanced consciousness. If you cannot build, it means that your mind is operating on a primitive state. We don't want to hear that, but that sometimes is true. As a people, as African people, the reason we talk often about religious concepts is that as Africans, African society, African continent is hypnotized by religion. Hypnosis is real. I'm talking as a mental health professional. Hypnosis is real. The entire African society, African continent is hypnotized by Euro-based Christian ideology, as well as Arab, Saudi Arabia-based, or the Arabia-based Islamic teachings. If you go, half of Africa is Christian, looking towards Western philosophies to be able to live and exist. And then the second half is looking towards Arab. In fact, Arab even tell you that if you are praying, you have to face the East. And people do that. People do that. What kind of mental colonization, your consciousness, your allegiance is to a system that is alien from you. You see? That's why we need to reason, because the reason you're not building is because your brain is immature. Your brain is immature. And people around the world knows that. And that's why people don't take you guys serious in anything. They think you cannot do geometry. You cannot do science. You lack reasoning, and they treat you like a child. When are you going to grow up, folks? When are you going to be free from the hypnosis? People who introduce Christianity and Islam and any other religion in between tend to control you forever. Remember, colonization has stopped, but mental religious colonization is intact. And nobody is talking about this neo-colonization. When we talk about colonization, we think about economic colonization. We think of the old standard European or Arab imperialism. Those ones are now subliminal. One of the best way to colonize and hypnotize entire African society is through religion. And that's why we're here to expose some of the historical errors in religion, and also to expose some of the hidden history of humanity. So today is going to be more of a religious topic. We are going to explain the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation, this is one of the texts. This is one of the contents in the New Testament that has been misinterpreted by so many people. You go to churches. I've listened to televangelists, mega global super rich Jesus superstars. You call them Jesus superstars, these exploiters. Right? I've listened to these people try to talk to people about the book of Revelation chapter 13, dealing with the number 666. And I was like, I see people sitting down there like, oh my goodness, these people are being deceived. And if deception is happening on that massive platform, how can their souls be free? How can their souls be free? Because the blind is leading the blind. Most of these so-called teachers are ignorant. Most of them don't know. And some who knows because of the position, ecclesiastical position, because of the church position, because of the name and the title, don't want to give it up, right? And that is why the people, because the people are hypnotized, they keep on being behaviorally and mentally conditioned and programmed. You go to church and you give your pastor all your money. Nah, you're not going to get that from me, right? I'm not going to give these clowns my money, right? So this is not an attack on any system. This is, we speak the truth. The truth, God is the truth. The prime creator is the truth. And if I find the truth outside the church, I'm going to follow the truth, right? Not allegiant to any system. And I can speak based on factual, historical evidence and truth. And if you cannot stand the truth, then maybe God is not in you. Because if God is in you, you will embrace the truth when you see it. Because a lot of people don't want to think. Thinking is a job. Using the mind and reason is a job. It takes much. It's easy to sit down and maybe look at TV like retarded and then be indoctrinated. Most of these TV, they don't know what they're talking about. And people don't even know there are something called Project Bluebird, where, for example, in the Western world, intelligence agencies like CIA and other intelligences actually program people. They neurologically program people. So what you call news is not news. When you have been spiritually enlightened and awake and you looking at TV, and anyone who like woke up will tell you this, you see the facade, you see the lies, you see the mass hypnosis. And the masses don't understand this because they are hypnotized and they are believing this gibberish, this garbage that the system is putting into their minds and into their consciousness. And the reason for this is to keep your soul consciousness trapped. Remember, there are two kinds of people on this world, the organic ones and the inorganic ones. Jesus spoke about this when he talked about the parable of the wheat and the tares. A lot of people misinterpret that content. It has to do with the existence of two kinds of people. One is truly soul human. The other one is not soul human. And the inorganic ones are the ones who run most of the things on this planet. Oh, what are you talking about? I'm talking of advanced metaphysics, right? If your soul is trapped, if your mind is trapped in the 3D consciousness, you follow the regular church teaching, the regular media teaching. I'm going to sound like I'm crazy, but you are the one who is crazy because maybe you have not done your research. Because if you do your research, you find the truth. But people are even scared to find the truth because ignorance is bliss. See how it sounds? Bliss, like in a state of euphoria, in a state of infantileness. Is there like a word like infantileness? Like infantile, childishness. We want to exist in a state of childishness because we don't want to give up in thought. What being taught is so sweet and it's addicted. And if I leave it, what am I going to do? That's what a child does. An adult grows up. And as Africans, particularly Africans, we got to grow up. You talk to a lot of people from the African continent, their mind is trapped in a cyclic, perpetual ignorance. And that has to go. That has to go if your country or continent will ever develop. If you are afraid of giving up religious Kool-Aid, your society can develop. because people who program you are more advanced than you are. You think that by questioning assumptions, the scripture, that you're challenging God. No, 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 no. You're challenging lies. You're challenging evil system that has trapped your soul in a perpetuity, in a perpetual hypnosis and enslavement. Just like many people believe that God, for example, created Adam and Eve. I'm kind of drifting, but that's part of it. Many people believe that God created a man and a woman called Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, somewhere in the Middle East. That's a childish fairy tale. Childish fairy tale. Some people like what I say. Are you an atheist? No, no, I'm not an atheist. No, I'm not an atheist. You know, that's the truth. Mankind did not originate anywhere called the Garden of Eden. If there is any kind of creation, there was a different kind of creation by the negative being, what you call the fallen angels. That even science today, the same Western people who came to Africa are indoctrinators like children, are saying that if there is any first human on this planet, is a black woman in Africa. That's why they call the mitochondria DNA or the mitochondria Eve. They use genetic science to establish that mankind, if there is any first mother of humanity, you're talking of black woman in Africa, because that has the oldest genetic stock. How do you say that? Then who came and wrote whatever bullshit, encoded it in the scripture to colonize our minds and make us trapped? And we cannot get out of it, because Bible could be a system of hypnosis. Once it hypnotizes you, you can't see it. You are charmed. You've been taken over like invasive species, like something possesses you and your mind is gone. For example, Adam and Eve, two people on the planet, they have children, Cain and Abel, right? And then Cain killed Abel. And we're told that Cain then went to the land of Nod and married a wife. Does it make sense? But if you're hypnotized, you cannot even see it when you read. You're laughing like a baby, like a child who's been filled with breast milk. You're just smiling and happy and giggly. And that is why your controllers are more advanced than you, because they know your ignorance. So my job is to extricate the minds of people from control, not to take away from God or anything like that. Or not. No. I think atheism is stupidity, But there are lies that keeps us on a three-dimensional plane of existence, and we have to be away from that. That's quite an introduction. So I am going to go straight into our topic today, which is the book of Revelation. I am particularly interested in the theology of the Bible and other theologies of other religions, because religion, as I say, Africans, there's something about Africans that just they don't get it. They're hypnotized by anything Western or Arabic, The same way, if you're a Christian, you criticize the Arabs for their stupidity sometimes in embracing this Arab religion. The same way you buy into Western Christian doctrine. So both of you are the same. And some of us are the ones who are outside and say, look, look, you're following the shepherd, but the shepherd is going to give you up to the butcher. He said, no, he's taking me to a beautiful pasture to eat. No. We are the ones outside that say, no, leave the shepherd alone. He's not a good man. The shepherd is preparing the sheep only for what? Or the cows or whatever. The cowboy don't love the cows. You're going to sell them to make suya, to make a soup, to make all kinds of delicious meals. So even though the shepherd or the cowboy is feeding their stock, it's not because they love them. That's how the world works. That's how the world works. People who came and taught you these doctrines don't really like you. They are way, like you're talking of maybe 5,000 years ahead of you. And that system is what, for example, the Western society has continued to use today. When they came to Africa, for example, we were backward. Our minds are still the same way it is today. We think we're educated because we've gone to schools. No, we've been indoctrinated, not educated, because nobody will educate you. You educate yourself. You educate yourself. Who will educate you? If I'm ruling over you, do you think I'll tell you the truth? No, I won't tell you the truth, because once I tell you the truth or teach you the truth, you are going to be free from me. So I will keep you on a perpetual long-term ignorance and stupidity. So let's dive straight deep into the book of Revelation, one of the most misunderstanding book in all the Bible, one of the most misread, misunderstood, misinterpreted is the book of the Apocalypse. The Apocalypse means revelation is a Greek terminology. Apocalypse means to reveal, to unfold, to reveal. And that tells you that the book of Revelation is the work of alchemy. I'm not going to take time to study what alchemy is, because if you don't understand what alchemical process is, you will read this and you misinterpret it, and then you will teach wrong thing to the people, right? Which is what is happening all over the world. In mega churches, in small churches, these very texts of the New Testament is misinterpreted. And then, but some of us are just the lonely voice in the wilderness, the masses, the sheep and the cows, they have been fed by the system, and the system understands that people are retarded. Let me drink my lemon water. So I will do something that I don't like doing often. So I'm going to read down the book, chapter Revelation chapter 13, because that is where it talks about the beast. We're going to explain to you what the beast is. Here is like a university. If you're open-minded, you're going to learn things. And when somebody is teaching you bullshit, you can just be looking at them like they're crazy. They don't know what they're talking about. Like, get out of here, right? Your professor, your pastors, when they start misbehaving and teaching wrong things, you can just be listening to them like, oh, this nigger, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's ignorant. His teaching doesn't make sense. He's naive. So to have that level of knowledge and intelligence means you cannot be exploited. It's difficult for people to exploit people who are away spiritually and intellectually. It's very difficult. And that is one of the reasons why religion, for example, in all religion, Christianity, Buddhism, Muslim, all of them, what do they promote? Belief. Belief. Nobody's going to say, have you gone to church or to mosque? And they say, think. No, they say believe. And they use, one day I'm going to talk about advanced techniques. How when pastors start doing this, they're coding your mind. Most of these pastors are aware of it, or imams are aware of it, and most don't. The system, how the body mechanism, your physiology works, and when you think you're intelligent, but you could be hypnotized easily, but you don't know that. So I'm going to teach you advanced techniques. Sometime in the future, we might talk about brainwashing system and how it works, and how somebody can subject your mind to the rhythm of your heart by their voice, by music, by sound, to reprogram you and become a dumb. You're just looking like a retarded. And whatever they say from that moment, you become something psychologists call suggestible. You digest it uncritically. I'm going to talk about this so that we begin to free ourselves from this garbage out there. So I'm going to read from the book of Revelation, and then we take it there. So Revelation chapter 13, that is our main focus of explanation today. We're going to interpret the mark of the beast 666 to demystify it and see what it actually is. Because of this wrong teaching, people don't know how to alchemically transform themselves for higher ascension. So they're trapped. They're trapped. And even when they die, they're still trapped in the cyclic wheel of time. They're still trapped because they're going to be recycled here because they don't have knowledge. If you are looking at a pastor to save you here, excuse me, in this planet is a prison system. You have to know that spiritual is a prison system. This is a jungle. Nobody helps you. You help yourself. You find your path. If you're following people, you're going to be lost. If you're following systems, you're going to be lost, right? So you have to be aware. You have to be awake to search for your own path through alchemy. Because people think, oh, because I went to church and there are a lot of people there, so all of us are heading on the right path. No, only few people who are heading on the right path, you may not even listen to them when they talk to you because you think they're crazy, you know? Where a lot of people congregate in masses because those oftentimes is not the true knowledge. Because if it's true knowledge, the elite will not let it happen. Check in history. Anyone who has stood up to teach something that liberates human beings is often killed or persecuted, and the establishment will hate them. So the point is that if Jesus comes back this second time, if he comes back and begins to talk to people, people will see him, will not believe him because it's not the program that they've been wired to believe. Anyway, so let's go straight and read from the book of Revelation, chapter 13. He said, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of sea, having 7 heads." Remember, the number 7 is an alchemical number, right? "Having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of the heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast, and they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwells in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to, the phone is ringing, shut it off. Okay. Where was I? Okay. And his mouth, and he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwells in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwells upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leads unto captivity shall go into captivity. He that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth. Remember, this symbolism is not alchemy. If you don't understand alchemy, don't try to read this because you're going to make a mess. You deceive people, you lie to people, you teach bullshit. Some of these mega pastors and priests and bishops are doing. They're coding the mind of people with something they have no idea what is going on, right? So have this image in your mind. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, the dust, right? And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon. And he exercised all the powers of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them that dwells therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. And he does great wonders, right? So that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Okay, I'm almost finished. I don't like reading long stuff on my platform, but then we have to read this because it's one of those teachings that has been so perverted and so corrupted by a lot of ignorant people out there. And let me drink water. And deceives them that dwells on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwells on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. He has power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and curse, that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, right? And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. This is going to be the meat of our explanation, the mark of the beast. We've had people say all these things. If you go to YouTube, go to internet, you see people who think they know, and they're trying to explain this alchemical. Alchemy has to do with esotericism. St. John, whenever he wrote, was writing a highly coded alchemical language. And to understand this, go and take your time and understand alchemy, alchemical transformation, to know this. Because if you don't understand it, you're going to deceive yourself and let yourself be deceived by other preachers or teachers, and you deceive other people. And the knowledge of this alchemy is very important for soul freedom, because many people don't have soul freedom. Many people are religious but not spiritual. You have to leave religion in the trash, in the dustbin of history, the trash can of history. Leave religion alone. Religion will take you straight to hell. Religion will take you straight to the abyss, because religion was created by the fallen angels. And I've said this over and over and over and over, and I can't stop saying it. I'm going to say it again. Religion was created by the fallen angel to cage soul consciousness from rising, because by nature we are spiritual. So they create a bubble, they create a system that contains you. And that system puts a cap, there's a cap over your soul evolution. So you're not really evolving. You're not evolving. You're trapped in the matrix. You're trapped in the system. And that system cages you. And some of you, very infantile in thinking. You grew up very naive in thinking that if you just live as ignorant as you are on this earth, you die, you're going to go straight to heaven. No. The only reason, the only purpose you exist here is to alchemically find your way back to the Creator. Every other thing you're doing is distraction. Every other thing is distraction. Everything else is distraction. Marriage, having children, doing business, going to school, they're all forms of distraction. Only one reason is to return to the prime creator, because if you don't, you will be recycled over and over in this third density level. That's not what the church is teaching you, because they're lying to you. Because people who brought this religious system understood that they have to keep you trapped because they want to make you food for the archons. The archons are the minions of the demiurge. The demiurge is Satan, right? Well, let me just finish reading. So, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their forehead, the mark of the beast, right? And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of the beast, right? I'm almost finished. Be patient. Be patient. Here is wisdom. You see, this is like we're talking of wisdomization. This is wisdom. The Bible is telling you again. Here is wisdom, because it takes wisdom to decode. These are codes. And to crack that code is not something you go to Baptist church where they get you excited, entertain you, holler at you, and you feel that there's a flame in your heart. You go back to your home. The next day, the fire has died. You go back again and they brainwash you, holler. You empty your pocket to them. These are vampires. These are cosmic vampires. They're vampirizing up your soul energy, sometimes intentionally, sometimes not intentionally, because they're the force using them again to keep humanity trapped in the low density, the three-dimensional, spiritual, unevolved spiritually. You got to evolve spiritually. So let me finish it. This is the last verse. Here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. This is the meat. The number of the beast is the number of a man. And by the time we finish, we're going to have new insight into this alchemy. Alchemy is hidden. It's hidden because when Jesus said the reason he spoke in parables is so that they will listen, but they won't hear, because it's not made for everybody unless you're called for higher spiritual evolution. If you're a soul being, the Spirit can interpret it to you. If not, through your research, through your quest, your prayer, you can understand some of these high-level knowledge that the majority of the people on the planet don't understand. So it says, count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600 and 6. That is 666, right? That's the number of the beast. So let me ask again a hypothetical question. When was the first time you heard the number of the beast? Remember how scared you are? How scared? You're scared, you're so scared you probably peed on your panties, because the new religious movement called millennialism. Millennialism are these people who believe that Jesus is coming on the planet and very soon, he's going to establish the kingdom and all what have you. So the millennial teaching has corrupted a true knowledge of the number 666, because for everyone I've listened to, the churches, the televangelists, pastors, bishops, priests, looking forward to the emergence of a man called the beast or the Antichrist, right? They're looking forward to this person, but is that really what this alchemical word is saying here? No, it's not. It's not. I'm going to explain to you what the beast is and what the number of the beast is. And before I go into the final explanation of what the number and the beast means, I am going to again bust another bubble. For some Bible believing, Quran believing, it's going to be like a challenge to your assumptions about the true history of man, because the assumptions are not often right. Something happened that perverted reality, that corrupted reality, and that has to do again with the fallen angels. Fallen angels have been interfering with the original creation here for a long time. There are fallen angels. Enoch spoke about this in the book of Enoch, the 200 demons or devils who were cut off from the prime creator. They have been the one corrupting the system. They have been the one creating all religious system. Religious system is meant to keep you away from spirituality, to divert your mind, your attention away from spirituality. Only few people actually understand how to free themselves on this planet. But because if you're dumb and if you don't have the knowledge, when you are living in this is one of the most easiest place to be. Because there's another realm behind this. There are planes of existence. There are dimensions of existence after this. So if your knowledge in this three-dimensional construct is limited to free you, how do you think that when you die, you're just going to escape these other dimensions and go to heaven? No, there are barriers there too. If you're dumb here, you're going to be dumb there. If you cannot find your path here, you're not going to find your path there. That's not what religion is teaching, but that is the truth as to what is going on. There are systems, like layers and layers and layers of onions that exist in reality, both physical and astral, both physical and spiritual. There are realms of existence that exist that keeps souled humans trapped in a prison system. So, as I said, before I go into explaining what this mark of the beast is, we have to understand that the religious systems and the texts we found in the scriptures theologically has been so corrupted for a long time by the fallen angels, right? I give example when the Israelites went into, by the way, the Bible or the Torah is a Jewish book. Christians adopted it, right? And any Jewish scholar will tell you that Christians, they misinterpret and misunderstand the entire construct of the Old Testament, right? They will tell you that. So they're the ones who wrote it. So when the Israelites or the Hebrews is the proper name, were in exile in Babylon, I think 579 BC, that about 579 BC. When they were in exile, something happened. A branch of quote unquote rabbis, biblical scholars, really elites who are Satan followers, if you like the synagogue of Satan, began to replace the original message of the Creator. They began to edit, they began to add, and they supplanted the true order of God, the true God, original God, because there are multiple gods, there are multiple dimensions, there are multiple fallen realms. They supplanted the original message in the scripture and inserted a lot of satanic, evil, diabolical, Luciferian, devilish teachings in the Old Testament, right? It was out of the Babylonian experience or the Babylonian exile. Remember Babylon. Babylon is the seat of Marduk. Marduk is Satan. Babylon is the seat of Necronomicon, the magic called Necronomicon. So Babylon was the seat of advanced occult knowledge. And some Hebrew elites became part of this. Because as I say, there are two kinds of people on this planet, the organic ones, souled organic ones, and the soulless inorganic ones. So the inorganic ones were in charge of editing and modifying these texts, original texts of the Bible. So most of the things that came down to us today was out of Babylonian experience. And what happened? The Tetragrammaton, the Tetragrammaton, tetra means four, grammar letter, aton means Aten, or the god, ancient Egyptian god called Aten, or the sun god, the solar disk, right? So it was out of Babylonian experience that something called the Tetragrammaton was born, and that was the beginning of the name Yahavaha, What do you guys call Jehovah? Jehovah is a fallen demon. Jehovah is not original creator. Jehovah is a supplanter. Yahweh or Jehovah is not the original creator. Like, oh my goodness, you committed abomination. I've been invoking Jehovah all my life, right? No, Jehovah is not. Jehovah is a supplanter. And he came out of these soulless ones who were allegiant to Satan, who were allegiant to Lucifer, who were allegiant to the devil, who begin to edit. Gradually, they replaced, they perverted the original order of creation and the real eternal law of the true God, and replaced it and gave what Jehovah. So all this while, you may see that humanity has been worshiping the fallen one. This is not knowledge that people know, right? This is not what people know. So any invocation of the name Jehovah or Yahweh, you know you are calling a fallen angel. Like, oh my goodness, are you out of your mind? That's why we're here, because we're here to make you uncomfortable. We're here to make you comfortable. Cannot teach you what they're already feeding you, the garbage and the lies they're teaching you out there, because those garbage and lies will trap your soul consciousness down, and you will never be able to rise up to a real spiritual consciousness and to free yourself from the matrix. Remember, the planet is a matrix. So Jehovah is the same thing, just in different cultural languages, as Moloch, the god Moloch, or the god Saturn, or Satan, or El, or the Egyptian Aten, or Ra, right? These are different, just different cultures. The same being manifesting in different cultures and deceiving people. So Jehovah is the one, the demiurge, if you like, the demiurge, the creator of the material realm. We've been taught that the material realm, the physical plane, things you see, matter, was created by the true supreme God. No, matter was not created by the true supreme God. And that is one of the reasons where in ancient time, the elites, the inorganic ones who worship Satan, most of them as religious leader within the Catholic ecclesiastical hierarchies, began to persecute the people they call heretics, because those people they call heretics were teaching the real program, the real, true, eternal knowledge, eternal law of the original creator, before they supplanted and implanted all these satanic worships in the Bible and make people to follow the negative ones. Like what I say, the Bible is the word of God and everybody knows. No, you have not really studied theology or history of mankind. The fact is that the God that the Jewish people worship, they call Jehovah, Yahweh, or Yahweh, is of a fallen realm. Is the same God that is, we call the Moloch, or the planet Saturn, or the god Saturn. And this is a fallen angel. This is a fallen angel, is a demiurge of the material realm. So I'm coming to explain what the number 666 means, right? Because it's not what people are thinking at all. So we've established how the tetragrammaton of the Jewish, that coming from the Jewish so-called rabbis who are allegiance to the devils, out of Babylonian experience, supplanted the true message of God by removing the original law of God, by the original eternal divine law, which a lot of people no longer understand. That's why they follow the things of the flesh, the teachings of the fallen ones, the teachings of the archons, the teachings of the demons, right? So the material realm you created was a slow down vibration, a slow down vibration. So this material realm is, we are in a quarantine. We are spiritually in a quarantine. The whole physical reality you exist in was being cut off, right, from the prime creator because of the rebellion, the ancient rebellion. Rebellion is the disobedient to the prime creator, right? So when the demiurge or the archon or Moloch or the devil or Yahweh or Jehovah took other fallen, other angels out of heaven, deceived them, took them out of heaven. The prime creator know that a virus, a sort of virus have been introduced in the system. The system is corrupt, so he cut them off. He cut them off and created eternal gulf. So these fallen angels can no longer return. The access has been denied from the original creator. What did they do? They become the masters of the physical plane. They created the physical realm. And the physical realm, they did this by slowing down vibration. Because if you understand atom, if you understand quantum physics, you know everything is vibration. But how did you have density? How is it that I'm touching this? I'm touching it because it's possible for me to touch it and feel that I'm touching something because of resistance in electromagnetic field frequency, right? If you remove electromagnetic field frequency, there is no density. There's no tree standing there. It's an optical illusion being fed into your consciousness. This is higher metaphysical thinking, and it's not something you learn from the Sunday school, because the Sunday school is meant to do what? Keep you babyish and childish, and your soul should be on a low vibration forever. So, coming back to the mark of the beast, right? And I'm going to drop the bomb here. The mark of the beast is your physical flesh. The number 666 is your material body that was not created by the original creator. Like, oh my goodness, are you out of your mind? We are told that God came down and created man out of the dust of the earth. When we are reading the book of Revelation, chapter 13, you see, I ask you to pay specific attention to the beast rising out of the earth, right? He was describing the creation of man, because in many scriptures around the world, not just in the Christian scripture or in the Hebrew or Islamic scripture, other scriptures say that man was created Adam was created out of the dust of the earth. And they told you the beast was rising out of the dust of the earth. It's the same alchemy. It's the same metaphorical statement. So the beast is your physical flesh that is in enmity to your soul. Because what the eternal one, the true one created, not the Jehovah one. The Jehovah one are the fallen angels. I know, I'm busting the Bible, but that is the truth, because a lot of people in the world are blindfolded. So what the prime creator created is the soul. Originally, we are light beings. We don't have dense flesh and body. This is beast. The flesh is the beast they're talking about, because it's an alchemy. Don't be looking for somebody to come who is going to be Antichrist in the future. That is a wrong understanding, right? Because why is it called? He said, this calls for understanding. The number, it says something to the effect that, let me just make sure, let me just read it again too. It says something to the effect that this calls for wisdom and understanding. The beast, the number is that of a man, something like that. Let me just read it word for word. It said, and here is the wisdom. Let him that had understanding. Remember, it's not for everybody. This was a chemical written for some people, right? Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. He said, for it is the number of a man. It is the number of a man. You are that man. You are the Adam created here on this physical fallen realm, right? By the Jehovah beings, by the negative entity. And how did they create your physical body? Original creator cannot allow his true spirit to dwell on this flesh, this beast. When you have you ever seen a dead person, you get rotten. The eternal light cannot dwell in it. You are living in the flesh because you rebelled. You've forgotten about it. You rebelled and you followed the fallen ones to matter, right? You fell into matter. And the demiurge, what they call the fallen one, the leader of the rebellious fallen spirit, created the physical body as a prison. So your body is the prison that houses your soul. That is the meaning of that word, the number 666, the beast. Because the body is made of carbon, and carbon is one of the most abundant material in the universe. And when the Bible is saying, or other scriptures are saying that man was created from the dust of the earth, It's talking of the elements. Carbon is one of the greatest elements, the most abundant element in the universe, and your body is composed of carbon 12. That's the code. That's the alchemy in the book of Revelation. That is the number. That is the beast. You are made of carbon 12. Carbon 12 is broken down scientifically as 666. You know who's calling me? I'm not going to answer it. I can't even find my second phone. So that's crazy. So let's continue. So carbon 12 is what the element in which your body is composed of, right? And this carbon 12 has to do, is also breaking down scientifically 666, 6 protons, 6 electron, and 6 neutron. That is the code. Say this calls for understanding, because whoever wrote this was writing a high metaphysical knowledge. So the beast is your physical body. Your physical body, you're here because you follow the rebellious ones to come here. So when in the book of Genesis, you see they're talking of the creation. They're talking of the creation by the fallen ones. It wasn't the prime creator. He didn't create the flesh. So it is wrong when you hear people say, oh, God of all the flesh. That looks like vulture. The prime creator, the eternal one, is not God of all the flesh. The God of all the flesh is the fallen realm, is Lucifer, is Moloch, is Saturn, is the god El, right? This is the God of all the flesh, that the ones who made the physical material plane. You are in prison. You are in prison. The flesh is prison. That's why when you die, if you have listened to somebody, and go to search engine YouTube and put people who are near-death experience, they say once you come out of your body, you see how horrible your body looks. You don't want to come, your soul doesn't want to live here anymore, right? Because this is the beast. The physical body is the beast, right? So don't be looking at in the future where somebody is going to rise to be putting mark on people's head. That's why they deceive the masses, because if you don't understand this, you're not going to know how to alchemically use a chemical process to free your mind from this, to free your soul from this prison. Now, this planet in which we live is a quarantine, system. We're in a quarantine. Our souls are in quarantine because we follow the fallen ones. Like some people like, well, I was just born, I didn't follow anyone. God just created me. No, you've forgotten. Because before you incarnate, before you're born, the archons wipe your memory off. So you don't remember that. But your soul followed the rebellious ones to matter. They trapped you here. And why did the rebellious one, or the fallen ones, or the fallen angels want to trap you here and claim that they are God, so that you worship them by giving them your life energy? Because those fallen ones are completely shut off from the original creator, and therefore they don't have access back to life. So they feed off of you, because you still have chance to return to the prime creator. They don't. They're the leaders of the rebellion. They don't. And because of that, they keep you in prison. The physical material body is the prison. And the whole purpose of existing is to free yourself and purge yourself of the rebellion and return to the prime creator, not Jehovah. Jehovah, as I say, is the fallen realm. That concept, Yahweh, Jehovah or Yahweh, came out of the Tetragrammaton, the four-letter word out of Babylonian experience. And those ones are demonic. That name is a fallen angel. So don't be following that. But you see, because I'm bringing something new to you, see that the whole church is singing Jehovah is God. You see, they are in the negative part. They are in the error. They are following the fallen ones, because Jehovah wasn't his name. Jehovah is Moloch. Jehovah is El. Jehovah is a fallen angel, right? Yahweh is the fallen angel. It's not the true God. And that is what, from that Babylonian experience, the Jewish people worshipped. That's why you see them put what? In their forehead? Stone or cube, because it's referring to the cube of Saturn. These are negative things. Those who gave you the Bible, the original Hebrew people who gave it, that's why they put on their forehead, they put the cube, referring to the cube of Saturn, the planet Saturn, and Saturn is Satan, right? How about Islam? They go to Mecca and worship what? Kaaba stone, still the cube, black stone. The same black stone that the Jewish people put on their forehead is what they go to Mecca to worship, right? Because it's one thing. Allah is Yahweh. Allah is Jehovah. Because if you understand historically the etymology of these religious deceptions, you're going to see that it's just one entity controlling and governing the entire planet. So this is the true meaning of the number 66 is your flesh. You're not supposed to be in flesh. You're light beings. You did not have this physicality. You did not have physicality. That is what the original one created. But then somebody needs your energy. They need you to follow them and worship them by feeding off of your soul energy. You don't see it. But if you can see spiritually and astrally, see that when you are trapped in this low vibrating worship systems, there are demons feeding off of your energy. You can't see it because you think you see with these eyes. You see with your third eyes, right? There are demons feeding off of your energy, and these are archon beings. Sometimes when people die, they're still in the higher astral plane. They make you believe that you've gone to heaven, but that is another system of enslavement by these demons. So if you don't have this higher level of knowledge, you're not going to free yourself from this thing, because the system is so deep, the control is so deep that only few people understand it. And that is why only few people will really ascend in the last day, because majority are following the realm that have been condemned by the eternal prime creator. But as souls, the main purpose, at the beginning I said, the main purpose of us existing here is not just to get married and have plenty of children. If you are chemically aware, you realize that if you're going to bring children to this planet and you don't explain the world to them, you don't explain spirituality to them, you are trapping them for the archontic recycling system, right? You're bringing souls here to trap them, still in cage, still in prison, and they'll be recycled over and over and over and over. So if you bring in children here, make sure that you guide them like light. So the purpose is not just to be here and pursue businesses and be what you call success, is the work of the fallen dimension. What you call material success. You have a lot of money, you have a lot of beautiful women, a lot of cars. That's what people chase. These are distractions to extricating your minds and your souls from the control system that is so deep that people don't get it. So whenever you see preachers thinking that the number 66, when they teach this bullshit, they don't know what they're talking about. You are the beast. Your flesh is the beast. Your flesh is 666 because it's carbon 12, 6 proton, 6 electron, and 6 neutron. That's what you're made of, right? These are low vibration. I'm talking of code. These are what chains you here within your DNA, chains you here. Your soul is trapped here. When you die, it gets out. And people who have died and said, once you can view yourself, your body, your flesh from above, you don't want to, it looks like toilet pit. This body, your soul says, beautiful, is fine, is the beast, the number 666. So I'm going to stop here. I thought I was going to make this 30 minutes, but I think it's probably lasted more than that. So again, this is the primordial wave. Stay awake. Most of the teachings, most of the mainstream information are lies. And the people who control the mainstream systems are what? The inorganic ones, the soulless ones. They are the ones who program your religion. They are soulless. Soulless in the sense, they call it organic portal. Organic portal because they look like human beings, right? But they are conduit through which these negative energies of fallen angels manifest their presence on this planet and teach people and code people, put code. Religion is a code. If the code is in you, if the hypnosis is in you, you cannot break it. You need help. You need like an intervention. a higher divine intervention to break this code from controlling you. I'm out. Thank you for watching, and please come back next time.